What's up, everyone? I'm the Kaijin Okami from the Toku Animation News Network, and this is my quickie review, sort of Doctor Who Season 2, or 15, or 41, something like that. Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. Doctor Who Season 2, or whatever, has come and gone quite quickly. Kind of, if you count the Christmas special from last year, then it was a long time. But as a whole, it was pretty quick. And, well, it wasn't exactly Doctor Who's finest. First, the Christmas special, Joy to the World, that kind of premiered the season last year, was a harmless, fun, entertaining, enjoyable piece that didn't really have a lot going on for it, but as I said, it was entertaining. It was interesting to see the Doctor have to live through an entire year without his TARDIS. It kind of reminded me of the Doctor in The Power of Three from that terrible Matt Smith episode, only much worse for the Doctor. And then we have our true season premiere, The Robot Revolution. This one kicked off with a nurse named Belinda being captured by robots, taken to an alien planet that is apparently named after her. The Doctor has to come and rescue her. And at the end of the episode, without too much spoilers, she just wants nothing to do with the Doctor. She's just like, take me home, and that's it. And problems arise. He's not able to take her home no matter how much he's trying. She thinks he's playing her, where he's being serious, and he doesn't know why. So that kicks off like the plot of what's going on for this entire season, where they've got to make these little pit stops at various places to gather energy to get themselves back to Earth on the day he took off with her, or that she was captured by the robots. The second episode, Lux, takes place in 1950s Miami, with a movie theater which has been infiltrated by a cartoon god of the pantheon who's built off light. He captures people, puts them into movies, and we get to see the Doctor and Belinda trapped in a film for a little while. It was pretty cool. We got to see animated versions of them, and overall it was a really fun episode. Lux was a pretty kick-ass villain, just like the Music Meister was last season. I liked it. I liked this one quite a bit. Not perfect, but still really, really good. I did like one joke when the Doctor's talking about it being 1950s Miami, and he's like, wait, I'm black in 1950s Miami. I like that little bit that went on there, because it's like, oh yeah, shit. I wish they had done more of that with Whittaker when being a woman. There was only one episode that really touched on that aspect then. My favorite episode, The Well. There's a nice little plot twist towards the end of the episode that has you like, damn, that's pretty awesome. Or for some like, oh, that's blah, 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 blah. But screw those people. The Well was suspenseful. It was intense. Gatwa finally got to actually be the Doctor for a bit and do Doctor things. It was a really nice story that just was very well done. This is probably my favorite episode of Gatwa's run entirely. After that came Lucky Day, and this was the Doctor Who equivalent to Love and Monsters from way back in season 2, or David Tennant's first season. It was bloody awful. It was horrible. The Doctor is barely even in the damn thing. It was a Ruby episode, which is kind of weird because she already was developed all throughout season 1. We haven't really had much development on Belinda after her initial, I want you to take me home. So it was kind of weird to have an episode that was Dr. Light with Ruby instead of Belinda. A dude screws Ruby over. The acting was pretty damn bad for this dude, And Kate from Unit was the only person who actually did anything in this episode. Everyone else from Unit just stood there like, duh, what are they supposed to do? Duh. How is it that a military organization does not know what to do when they're under a threat? But Kate was the only one who actually did what was necessary, even though she didn't go as far as she should have. And then we had this really bad ending. The doctor shows up and just like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what you did was wrong. I'm going to tell you why it was wrong, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to walk away and pretend that you listened to me. I'm doing a very stern talking to you. Don't make me write you an angry letter. And then that was it. I was like, okay. And then the next episode happened, which was called The Story and the Engine. This one was pretty good, except it should have been a two-parter. There was just way too much crammed into such a short time span that it really paid for it. These guys are stuck in a barber shop. The doctor comes in, and the barber is apparently a Nancy, the storyteller spider from African mythology, which I love, but people have to tell a story as they're getting their hair cut, and as soon as they get their hair cut, their hair grows back, so they need to tell another story. And it had a lot of really great moments to it. It had some weird aspects. It was like, okay, so we're never going to actually touch up on that. Truly, are we? And then Belinda comes in, and I mean, she's absent for half the episode, and the second half she doesn't do much of anything but stand around and say, oh, the doctor will help us. But it was a weird episode because we have these guys, they're trapped. One of them talks about how much he admires the doctor because he saved their village long ago, and then he up and betrays the doctor in the middle of the episode, and it's like, but that contradicts how much he admires the doctor and whatever. There were some really cool aspects. The doctor again felt kind of like the doctor. Belinda again, pointless. And then our next episode, Interstellar Song Contest. Now, I was expecting this was going to be a musical episode, so I was really dreading it. Thankfully, it was not. Basically, American Idol competition is going on with all these singers, or I guess The Voice. That might be the better comparison. And these terrorists blow the dome and people flow out into space. Belinda feels like she's stranded again. She's absolutely useless in this episode. She has complete faith in the doctor, which is the exact opposite from how she was at the beginning. Like, we never actually saw the relationship build between these two for her to trust the doctor. It's the same problem I had with season 1. There was a lot of telling us, but not showing us the relationship between the doctor and Belinda. And that is my biggest point of frustration here. They didn't show us. But suddenly she has all faith in the doctor, fully knows who the doctor is in 6 episodes. 5 if you don't count the Dr. Light episode. Now, we actually did get a cool moment of the doctor finally letting loose, the same way Matt Smith did with the poacher Solomon in Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. The same way the doctor did to the Blood family in Family of Blood. The same way the doctor has done into the Cybermen in Attack of the Cybermen. The guy they threw into the acid pools, Colin Baker. The guy he shoots in Deadly Assassin. Baby Daleks he blows up in Genesis of the Daleks. And so on. It was weird because Gatwa's acting was not exactly the greatest for that scene. But it was nice to finally see the doctor have oomph. Except then it just stops. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we come into the part 1 of the season finale. Wish World. Which the doctor wakes up. He's married to Belinda. They have a child named Poppy. And he works for an insurance firm, which is basically at Avengers Tower. Unit Tower, because all of Unit are employees of this insurance firm. And I don't know why, but the way he was dressed up with a bowler hat made me think of the lawyer from A Series of Unfortunate Events. I was just expecting that the Doctor was going to pick up the Baudelaire children to take them to Count Olaf or whoever their next guardian is. We have a plot going on with a villainess. Well, we have the return of a Time Lord from the original series, the Rani, which I really liked her jacket. Her jacket was pretty badass. I have never seen this actress in anything before, but I liked her jacket. Her plan was kind of dumb, and we had a lot of time-wasting scenes and so much exposition. And then the episode leaves off for the finale, Reality War, which was not a very good episode. I'm not going to spoil it here because I want you guys to, if you want to, watch it for yourselves. I'll do like some spoiler talk, live stream or something in a few days. But it was horrible. It was not a good finale. It was not a good episode. This two-parter was garbage. In fact, years ago, when RTD was first announced as returning to Doctor Who, I'm like, yes, so excited. He's the chosen one. He's going to bring greatness back to Doctor Who. Well, little did I know that he was going to join the Sith and betray everybody. This season overall had some really good highs, but the lows were really low. I will say I still think these two seasons were better than Whittaker's seasons, but these Doctor Who seasons were awful. Gatwa was horrible as the Doctor. Well, actually, I shouldn't say he was horrible as the Doctor. He could have been a great Doctor, but he was not strong enough to stand up to the really bad writing. And he is the most underdeveloped Doctor of them all. I know more about McGonn's Doctor in his one movie than I do in Gatwa's 2 seasons and 2 specials. I know more about Eccleston in his 1 season than I do in Gatwa's 2 seasons and 2 specials. The whole season was built on tell, not show. We have a lot of meandering around. Belinda was absolutely pointless. Ruby really was the standout star of these 2 seasons, and they did her dirty in the end. And Unit, once again in the finale, they're just standing around gawking. I don't even know what the point of Unit is at this point. But I don't even know half their names. There's Kate, Mal, who did have a pretty good scene with the Ronnie. We've got Rose, which is the daughter of Donna, who I don't like putting it this way, but it's true because it sounds mean, but her only character trait is being the trans character of the show. In fact, this really frustrates me because Unit feels like they're just a checklist. Just, okay, we've got that person, we've got that person, we've got that person, because none of them have any personality, none of them have any character growth, character development, or even character traits. As I just said, Rose, her trait is being the trans person, and it is complete crap that is her only character trait. She had so much potential to be something bigger, and that's what they did with her. We have Girl in the Wheelchair, whose character trait is being in a wheelchair, or as I've nicknamed her Chariots of Fire. We've got the midget guy, whose trait is being a small person. We've got the guy who looks like a young Frank Grillo. And then there's a robot who sits in the chair and spouts exposition and does nothing else. Then there's like a lady to the left, a dude to the right, and that's it. Complete disservice to these actors because they could have been so much more. I don't understand. As I said, I feel like they're just checking off these boxes. Okay, we have that type of actor, we've got that type of actor, we're fulfilling that need, instead of actually giving these characters purpose, personality. And I feel that is a bigger insult than hiring them for a checkbox. It's a complete disservice to those people, to those actors and actresses. Horrible. Just horrible. I ponder if these actors actually are upset about this, or if they're just like, well, I've got work, so it works for me. I'm getting paid. But I feel bad for all these people. Gatwa deserves so much better. Ruby's actress, Millie Gibson, deserved so much better. I hear Belinda's actress is actually a really good actress. I only know her from the last Jurassic World movie and this, and I think she is one of the worst companions in Doctor Who history. I think she is worse than Dodo. Dodo had one story that I've seen where she was actually useful. Belinda couldn't even get that. Belinda is useless. She's worse than Adric. She is on par with Mel, because Mel is an awful companion. Mel is my least favorite classic Who companion, and Belinda, it was originally Dan from Whittaker's run, but now Belinda has taken that place. Just horrible. And the ending, yeah, that's for another video. I am so disappointed. I was so excited for Gatwa. I really thought he could have brought something new to the table. He got the shaft. RTD just needs to be fired. Or in the words of Christopher Eccleston, he needs to be sacked. Just sack RTD. Sack Phil Collinson. Sack all the writers currently. Bring in a completely new team. At this point, I couldn't care less if this series is cancelled. Put it on hiatus for another decade. Let BBC remember who good writers are and bring them in and have them resurrect Doctor Who. That's all I'm going to say at this point, because I'll have to dive into spoilers. Just an underwhelming season that's had some really strong episodes, a lot of questions that went unanswered, things that popped up that were just like, okay, are you going to answer that? No. Answer that? No. Answer that? No. Okay. Overall, I am giving Doctor Who Season 2 a generous 5 out of 10. Maybe 6 out of 10. Let's go with 6 out of 10. Have you seen Doctor Who Season 2, or whatever you want to call it? If so, what did you think of it? What was your favorite episode? What do you think of Gatwa overall? Did you like him? Did you hate him? Are you happy he's going? Are you sad he's going? Do you want him more? Do you think he got the shaft? Are you just like, I'm so done with Doctor Who, I don't even care anymore? Let me know in the comments. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification. Whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support me. You can support me on Patreon and Bluesky at tokuaannetwork, Network, Facebook, Instagram, Discord at Kaiju no Kami, my website creativitybydesignllc.com. You can buy cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise at creativitybydesignllc.com/shop. There's a link directly on YouTube that will get you to buy the merch. And there is a GoFundMe to help with health reasons and one to help the channel stay alive for another 10 years. And until next time, bye.